Dignitaries on the dais, good afternoon everyone, and good afternoon to all of you who have come to attend. So what I've chosen to do is, the topic is smart water for agriculture and development. I do not have any presentation, but I wanted to have basically put a message, share a message and my thought around smart water, because we are already hearing from the people who are working on the smart systems, and we'll also have it followed by from NABARD as well. So first of all, my introduction, I'm representing a water impact NGO called Jalsmruti, and what we do is we work mainly with community to help them understand water that they control and that they can influence, and whether it's urban or rural. We believe that the future of water is going to be the more the community starts to get involved and participate and own and lead the water conservation strategies, the more sustainable and more water secure our future will become. So that is the premise on which we work. So, so what I thought is, just please, I've got some pointers for me to make sure I'm staying to the topic. So I just, to give us, let us start with the context very briefly, that the challenges that the water presents for us in agriculture. So so basically I've jotted down 4 points. One is, of course, not as a challenge and opportunities. So agriculture is contributing to a significant to the economy itself. So that's an opportunity. And the challenge we have is the climate, because irrigation, as we all spoke about, rain is falling in different parts of the year and all that. That is a major challenge. And also the food security challenge with the growing population. We still have to provide food, and there are some statistics around how much we need to produce for population. So that is another challenge. And lastly, ecological challenge. Because today we're standing at the junction of a time where we are a unique generation, where we are able to see the impact of all that we have done in the past, as well as, so we have contributed to the problem, as well as we are seeing the results of the problem directly, and we are able to therefore have the opportunity of reflecting on what has brought us to this situation. So I believe that if we do not take that opportunity to actually, before we jump to solutions, or while we are navigating through the solutions, it is extremely important to actually reflect on what has actually brought us to the water crisis. What is the current situation? Why are we in this current situation? And it is important to dwell on it rather than just brush and jump to the solution. So in that aspect, so if we were to look back at where did we as India as a nation, what was our agriculture practices? So if we take it back to there and where we are today, we can reflect on the lessons, some of the lessons we can learn and make sure we do not repeat the mistakes. So in that, in looking back, I have jotted some points. One is that there is a history that apparently a British botanist who was sent to India to study the farming practices of India, so that they can teach the farmers how to farm. And that botanist who came, he was honest, and when he went on studying, what he noted was, I came here to teach the farmers, but what I'm learning from here is actually I'm learning more than I can teach. So what that basically, and there's a lot that has been documented in history, that the farming practices in India were very much very context based on, because the entire our subcontinent is so varied in agroclimate and the soil profile, etc., that every region developed its own farming and irrigation practices. So that is very, very important to understand, that this problem that we say that we have this varied climate and varied, and it's not happening, rain is not happening all throughout the year, so we have to do something about it. We have already dealt with it. We had good practices to deal with that very unique situation that we have. And of course, we all know about the traditional rainwater harvesting systems, structures that were built by the community and owned and managed by the community. as well as irrigation systems in various parts. There are historical evidences where we have had very good irrigation systems that actually captured the water and diverted it. So basically what I'm trying to say is, so now that we have looked back and seen that we have got some heritage to look up to and know that there are ways, and also reflect on something happened which changed the whole practice. And of course, some of the markers are, one of the most important markers is the Green Revolution, we all know about, which introduced and took us away from the natural way of doing. And again, as humans, we are allowed to make mistakes. And we wanted to, grow a lot of food and therefore took on those practices. But here we are today. World over, that we are all recognizing, and now world over we are recognizing we need nature-based solutions, we need ecological restoration. All these things we talk about as solutions. But what is important is, so what I want to say is, if we define smart water, it's a common definition of smart water is using technology to make things smarter. But I would like to redefine. If we were to redefine smart water, or maybe say smarter water, if that's smart water, if using technology is smart water, then what is smarter water? So smarter water would be water management that works in line with the principles of nature. And that would be smarter. And I would also conclude this presentation not by ignoring the technology, but I also have a conclusion about that. So let us agree that we need smarter water, which is about managing water in line. Because if we don't do that, what we are really doing is, if we make technology as the focus to solve the problem, then we are putting the cart before the horse. Because those who are developing the technology, the startups and there are so many, IoT, AI, we know that they do not have an understanding of if they are applying it to agriculture, we need to make sure they understand the fundamental problem of what is the problem that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, it is putting cart before the horse. So now, coming to the actual smarter way of thinking of water in agriculture context is, yes, I've only got 2 slides and I'm done. So the key thing is, the problem that is not acknowledged, and I'm a water professional, worked in water sector for 30 years, and I acknowledge this problem, that we water professionals build the narrative of what is the problem. And because of that, we keep saying we need to do water reuse, water efficiency, water recharge, water as a solution, as if water exists in nature in isolation, but that is not true. The way water has sustained in nature is because of the interrelationship with the water and the vegetation, the natural water cycle, which we learn in school and we forget about. Is the water in relation with the vegetation, in relation with the soil, that is what sustains water. So if we are to go towards sustainable water management, we have to acknowledge explicitly. Of course, we know it, but in the context of water management, we also need to see that we are having solutions that are related to, how do we improve the soil so that watershed structures work? How do we do the farming in a way the soil is alive? Because alive soil is what gets water in the ground. Otherwise, it is not happening. How do we make sure that we have vegetation in a way that actually brings rain? Because that's the role of vegetation. It brings rain and it also plays the role of the infiltration. So basically, going back to the basics, going back to the fundamentals of what sustains water. So my message is the approach that we need to take to apply tech to smart water, and it's addressed to all young people who are very keen to solve the problem, which is fantastic, is can we use advanced technology, all the suite of advanced technology, to track and monitor the emergent practice? Because, see, this is a complex problem. Complex problem is different from sending rocket to the moon, which is a complicated problem, where you have a clear idea and you just do it. But this is not the case. So you have to understand, can we learn from how nature works and then keep, because you have to track and monitor. That will inform you how do you scale and how do you, these fundamental solutions we are talking about, that watershed structures are the basic fundamental in terms of managing the water cycle itself, restoring the water cycle and protecting the water cycle. But in that case, how do we scale those very simple natural solutions using technology? How do we speed up the scaling of these solutions? How do we democratize the learning from doing and also the continuous learning that we need to do from nature? So that is what informs the technological solutions. And lastly, how do we build the capacity of people so anyone can grow food anywhere by understanding and working with nature? So that's all. Thank you very much.